Hello everyone, welcome to my video, and today we're going to be looking at a depotting project. So I did a previous video on these H&M eyeshadows. I have 14 of them, and I said I wasn't going to depot them because there was too much fallout. But what was happening when I was keeping them in the containers, I was still getting the fallout, and I decided, you know what, I'll just put them into a some kind of Z palette, because at least I'll be using them, and I just won't end up getting powder all over my my makeup bag. And here's the thing, I think what's going to happen is it's going to turn even to a more hot mess. If I put them into this is a brand new kind of Z palette that I have. This is actually Makeup Forever's. Actually I have two of them. And if you look closely, there's a magnet down at the bottom, but there's also some spaces in between. So then if I end up more fallout, I'm just going to end up with wanting to pull off the magnet to take out the fallout from the eyeshadows. You can also take a brush and then spray the eyeshadows and then pat down the excess. More of a hot mess. Probably in about a couple of months or so, I'll probably get tired of these eyeshadows and they'll probably just end up being all powder, and I'll want to get a whole new stash of eyeshadows. But that's something for me to watch out when I buy eyeshadows again, especially the single ones. So I came up with this other idea of putting them into a old, I'm going to call it pencil case. Metal pencil case. I cleaned it out. I'll put a magnet down at the bottom instead of using these brand new ones that I've bought. And it's very interesting. I was actually very sad when I depotted this eyeshadow that it ended up being crushed. But in one sense it was actually good, because I got the tin from this green eyeshadow, and it gives me an idea of the spacing when I put them into these kind of Z palettes. I can fit about 8 of these eyeshadows. And over this palette over here, I can fit 3 of them. And in this pencil case, I can probably fit about 12. I said, okay, so when you're going to be depotting your eyeshadows, get yourself organized. I've organized them by color. So over here we've got the sort of the greenies and the black eyeshadows. Over here we've got brown, and then over here we got the blue eyeshadows. Just be very careful when you're taking them out of containers. I like to recycle material. And this actually just broke. So the deal with these eyeshadows, they're comparable to just like single eyeshadows that you'd find in the drugstore. I mean, for that price under 10 bucks, I'm okay with them. And as you know, you can probably even get more inexpensive eyeshadows on eBay. I'm just showing you off the container. Well, you gotta be careful depotting things if you don't want your the cases for the eyeshadows to break. I think eventually I'm probably just going to end up throwing the cases out. And when you're depotting, you're going around the edges of these containers, and you just be very careful when you're doing that. Maybe even get a service safety pin to poke them out. And most of them are just glued down on the bottom. The reason being is that you're going to obviously need the tin with the eyeshadows in them, and you don't want to crush your eyeshadows too much. And then some other little tools. So just, you know, basic like sort of toothpicks or just plastic items or plastic spatulas that you would have for like creams. Okay, and that is about it. And hopefully I'm going to do a follow-up video and show you the rest of my project. I can only fit 12 eyeshadows in this container, so it'll be interesting. I think I'll probably have to leave out a couple of them. And to be honest, I think this is also just a really relaxing kind of project to do. It's almost like doing a little puzzle. Do I actually wear these eyeshadows? Yeah, actually I do. Show these eyeshadows off again. Again, another way to deal with fallout from eyeshadows is just use like a, you know, Fix Plus, and you know, a spray. The other thing to keep in mind, when these eyeshadows are full, they're basically about 2 grams or 0.07 ounces. So for some people, they don't like to depot too many of the eyeshadows because it's actually too heavy, and they're only going to be using maybe 1 or 2 of them. Oh. Okay, so I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks again, you guys are the best. Hey, and here's an update. So I managed to get all the eyeshadows out of their cases, and I found that I actually could fit, even just count, 11 eyeshadows in the first row of this pencil case. And then what I found out, I have this magnet that's actually going to put in the bottom, but I decided to take the other 3 and just place them on like a second layer. It's also very interesting to note that the eyeshadows that were matte broke. So if you notice this eyeshadow over here, I had to add some rubbing alcohol and just put it back together again. And actually, this shimmer eyeshadow I also had to it broke as well. It was a little bit on the soft side, so just add some rubbing alcohol. And it wouldn't be a depotting eyeshadow video if I didn't also show you a swatch. And I forgot what the eyeshadow was called, but you can see it's a very beautiful sort of navy blue with shimmers. It's this eyeshadow over here in the corner. So you can see that it was definitely hard at work. Another thing that I was noticing, a couple of tools I was using was definitely the spatula after I was pouring some rubbing alcohol into the broken eyeshadows. And I also use this metal thing over here to take the eyeshadows out of their case, the metal pans. And interesting to note that I didn't have to use any glue or any kind of put a magnet on at the bottom of this pencil case, because the glue left over from the pans, actually they were still sticking to them. I'll just show you what I mean. There was still a lot of glue left over from when I depot them, so it's actually still pretty sticky. And I guess if you want, you could also put a mirror inside this case, but that would make it really heavy. And bada boom, bada bang. So that's it. So thank you so much to my old and new subscribers. I totally appreciate you guys. And have a wonderful day. Oh, please comment down below if you have any other suggestions on how you guys organize and depot your eyeshadows. And I think another thing I was going to add in, there was a lot of effort to do all this, and sometimes people may wonder, was it worth it? And the answer for me, I think that this project was worth it, because it was just a big learning experience to see what goes into making eyeshadows and what to expect next time I buy single eyeshadows. Thanks again.